I remember. I remember the ancestors, the hunters, the gatherers. It seems primitive, but I'm just reminiscing. See, before the power struggle, we had roles and purpose to fulfill. And I remember selfless contributions. I remember who was shooting in the gym and who wore the team flag. Before Belgium divided the Hutus and the Tutsis. Before King Leopold collected the hands of the Congo. I remember who gave it all they had, who stayed true, who stood tall, toe-to-toe to the red, white, and blue. And when we were yelling, "Don't shoot," I remember who stood their ground when Trayvon went down, who took a stand when Sandra Bland went missing from action like the masses incarcerated. I hope the distance hasn't given you amnesia. What they wanted us to forget? This bloodline and a long list of legacies, the dynasties and the treasures buried deep beneath. See, before this is all over, our freedom will be the new history. Before this is all over, they'll drop to a knee ever so humbly. This is Colin Kaepernick with the fitted hat backwards. Do-rags, wave caps, bring back the camo and steel toe versus the suit and tie. Matter of fact, get fly how you want to. But when the script gets flipped, remember we said this. Remember the Alamo. Remember Jim Crow. Remember Plessy versus Ferguson. Remember Dorothy Counts. Remember heavyweight bouts. I remember Ali took on the government and went the distance. Excuse me, I'm just reminiscing, but I remember they called it 3/5 of men. From Harriet Tubman to Rosa Parks, I remember black women. Angela Davis rocked the fro. Huey had one too. Stokely Carmichael preached politics. Excuse me. Brother Kwame Ture, the politics delayed the enlightenment. But one thing about truth, it always shines the brightest. In the middle of the night when things seem the darkest, I remember pain, passion, and who sparked this. I remember swinging with our backs against the wall. I remember the last words of a dying man, stand tall. I can't fight this anymore. I remember the sacrifice. I remember being up at night. I remember the will, the might, the sit-ins that meant standing up for what's right. And when we marched on Washington, we didn't numb pain. We came, we tamed, be slain just to regain, rename, growls, fangs, howls, all in our Father's name. I remember Yahweh, connected to a higher power, all praises to it, all mazes lead into it. Intuition, that is. See, they try to confuse us with loose change. They say they want peace and love. Fine. Right after we reclaim. See, they changed the game when they introduced interest and inflation. Profit off the idea of capitalism. Just another form of feudalism. Only difference is optimism. Oh my God. All these isms. But I see them. Running in circles, doing the most. Take out your pens and pads, ladies and gents. I know it's a little early for final exams, but I'm here to reach you. See, we cling on to the idea of what it means to be successful because they determine the physical value of the things they try to keep from you. The elegance, the luxury, the classy. And speaking of class, if you were determined to be lower, then you would be regarded as last. And that's how the devil did it. He played with the ego of man and hoped that you would forget it. But I remember the light, the love, the grace, the mercy, the place, the peace, the promise made to the streets. I remember who gave it all they had and asked for the least. I remember who that dared that make war with the beast. I remember the prayers before the feast, Father, hallelujah. I remember.